To everyone, the movie Koa Koa. Learn horror fiction. Latest in 2024 named Cosmic Signals. Full review version. The film is about people who, colonists outside the working space, how to fight with alien monsters. The story takes place in a distant future, when the Earth has been able to carry out interstellar travel. One day, Earth launches a space war, building the size of all, as large as a planet to mineral exploitation. Meanwhile, a meteorite collided with other meteorites, causing it to deviate from its original orbit and rush straight towards the ship. Inside the ship, a lot of interplanetary miners are asleep. Andy is woken up by the whistle, the ship's alarm. The computer announces that the hull of the ship have suffered serious damage, and fish survival systems, kernel has been activated, is automatically equipping the device. Light escape for each person. This whole process takes place, fully automatic output. Andy doesn't need to do anything. What? Soon, Andy's escape room are ejected. To prevent the tip of the onion, guests were hit and smashed. The robot quickly locks in place Andy's helmet. He opened his eyes wide. Witness the escape chambers with your own eyes. Other caught fire and exploded. Then the system automatically wears. Give Andy a flying suit. Out and adjust it to the most comfortable mode. There happens to be a planet nearby, so the escape chamber was immediately forced. The gravity of this planet sucks down. It accelerates to full speed and rushes straight down at terrible speed. Make the outside of the escape chamber fire in the ward. But luckily it broke through in time. The planet's atmosphere. Spectacular fire outside the escape chamber. The danger immediately disappeared. But soon after that, it entered the lips. Extreme price weather field. This planet is so cold that it is extreme. Damage to the stabilizer of the emergency exit chamber, making it completely lose motivation, and slammed into the ground. Lucky for the escape chamber. Sturdy enough. Otherwise, Andy wouldn't have died. Know how he died. Andy's one-time smart spacesuit. Again, check his physical condition. But there was a misdiagnosis. Andy strangely called out to stop and confirm that I didn't have any problems at all. This means that Andy can leave from the emergency room immediately afterwards. He turned on the communication system, but did not receive any signal from anyone else. At this time, the escape chamber emitted warning, asked Andy to make, that is, leaving because there is a risk of an explosion. However, the device opens automatically. The chamber door has been screwed tight. Made Andy panic. There is no other way. He was forced to take measures. Powered by Rice is constantly kicking the door with both feet, but no matter how hard you try, it still didn't move in the slightest. Andy thought he could make a profit. Step out of the emergency room. But I didn't expect that the escape chamber. Danger suddenly overturned, causing the glass to shatter the books, his spacecraft. Luckily, he brought some repair glue with him, liquid and timeless, to deal with bookmarks. After the repair is completed, he checked and found the spacesuit, leaving only 42% of the oxygen. At this time, the escape chamber began to smoke. If you don't leave immediately, your life, Andy's, will no longer be guaranteed. He hurriedly collected some personal items to carry, then leave the emergency exit room. When you step outside, Andy realized that the onion, this spirit, is terrifying. Without any signs of life, only a thick layer of gray dust, thickly covering everywhere. At that moment, he saw a scene that will never be forgotten. Not far away, the spaceship he used to ride in are about to fall on this planet. And yet, Andy was still standing, dumbfounded. Looked at the scene, in a daze. Andy is still quite lucky. If it weren't for standing away from the explosion, perhaps he had evaporated into smoke a long time ago. When Andy stood up, smart helmet of non-suit, automatic display output, past flight trajectory. Information showing that they did not land down the expected planet, to a planet that has not yet been marked on the map. She. At the same time, the system also announced that Andy has the right to name the planet. However, Andy was not interested in anything with these colorful stories. Immediately said indiscriminately, Kusel Andy. So this planet is the main system. The formula was named Kusel Andy. Smart market is still open. Reported that the name will be automatically sent to the headquarters. Andy was so angry that he wanted to go crazy. Use voice commands to turn it off immediately. The market is smart about it. Andy walks while using the device. Contact to call teammates. But all the way, zank into silence. Not long after, he discovered a chamber, escaped, and immediately approached. He thinks that, even though the person inside has a quality, at least the oxygen tank remains. But the truth is not what you want. Not only the dead, but also the oxygen tank. Serious damage. Andy was disappointed, so he continued quietly. Walk towards the place where the light is. In fact, this escape chamber seems to have destroyed by some creature, because on its hard shell, also printed with claw marks. As Andy approached the light source, the storm began to blow violently. What was surprising was that he saw a person, busy doing something there. Andy immediately walked over, finally met his fellow human beings, and, of course he was overjoyed. This person's name is Dway. As an information engineer, military liaison, he explained that, to save time, the headquarters assigned the order to the ship, take a route that should not be taken, led to this serious attack. Currently, Dway is installing signal lights, to wait for the rescue team to arrive. Hearing that, Andy couldn't help but be overjoyed. Dway said there were 200 people on board. But maybe now, it's just it. 2 of them survive. According to the normal plan, this device needs 9 months to transmit signals to Earth. But he came up with a great way to shorten the time to 8 months. Andy and Jay's song Sweet Anya Shit still have to wait for another 8 months. But the problem is how they can survive those 8 months. After that, Dway went on to say that even when the Earth sends ships, the fastest it comes, it will take 5.5 years to get here. Andy asked anxiously, while waiting. What do we do now? Dway joked, then wrote a claim. Often the name of labor, isn't it? That money is a bit generous. Dway then officially declared, Father, that the 2 of them, they will make this place a base. A Sangri is the middle of the onion, this Huang Yu star. He said that the head of the ship fell in the southern area, a place called Namdai, and there are definitely a lot of supplies there. Saying just don't make mistakes. If you make a mistake, it will be fine. As soon as he spoke, Andy was unconscious and dropped an electrical cable. He picked it up in a panic and put it back in the socket. In the meantime, Dway went out behind a piece of equipment, suspected that there was a black shadow to drag Dway away. When Andy came back, he realized that Dway was gone. His heart was extremely confused, especially when the flight suit Smart announces that the amount of oxygen is only 36% and advised him need to be supplemented with oxygen immediately. There is no other choice. Andy presses the signal activation button, broadcast for help. After that, he decided to first find the source of oxygen first. Before leaving, he conveniently picked up the gun, the footage left, and then begin the journey of search. The oxygen source needed to survive the search in a layout. That's not a good way. So Andy decided to ask Cho Li Thong. Min located the place where the ship fell. Just find the largest part of the hull. Soon, planned roadmap. The approximate distance is 5 kilometers. Andy walked for a while when he discovered the answer. The system guides the way in a straight line. But the road is full of steep cliffs. What kind of trousers can you wear like this? He was angry. Suddenly, someone uses the device. Contact to call colleagues. It is said that it belongs to a sub. The woman called herself Naomi. The 2 quickly chatted with each other. Naomi interrupted the conversation. Explained that she had a broken leg and are trapped in the emergency room. She asked Andy to come and save her. At the same time, he promised to share his oxygen for Andy. And Tommy won't leave. He even took a step. Smart Market quickly set up. New route plan. This time, it's not a straight line, but there is a circumvention. That shows that this path is feasible. Andy immediately began his journey. The new route is about 10 km long. Not long after, the sky was completely dark. Along the way, Andy detects footprints, strangely extended to a cave. The feeling of fear came. He hurriedly left there, because I thought this place, there may be extraterrestrial organisms. Planet exists. This makes Naomi extremely worried. Andy quickly slapped him. Said that it was just his speculation. He himself had never seen anything. As he was talking, he saw something like a spider's web. But he also didn't understand what it was. Think it's best to. Going faster is better. He immediately continued to move forward. However, from behind him suddenly sounded a strange sound. Andy immediately turned his head to look, but saw nothing. Not long after, there was a sudden movement in front of him. Made Andy panic to the point that he had to turn off immediately. Lights on his helmet. Naomi's device detects a series of signals. The noise was focused on Andy. What the hell is going on like this? Both of them were extremely panicked. He immediately used his assistant to conduct an inspection, although this device works at the time of the moment. But this time, it discovered out 3 suspicious points. Naomi immediately warns that those signals are moving at extreme speed, fast towards Andy. Andy hurriedly got ready, his gun to shoot. At this moment, don't know who shot one, signal flare. And so, Andy finally looked, see everything in front of him clearly. If it weren't for Andy falling into the cave, this time, he would definitely have lost his life. When I feel so lucky. The giant beast, suspected of crawling inside, to try to marry Andy. There is no other way. Andy quickly got up and ran for his life. After a while, I just found out that this is not a cave, which is a great fissure. The upper part is narrow, but the lower part is wide. While running, I don't know the side at all. In front of it is a stone. And so he fell straight down. Fortunately, Andy has a big network, so he doesn't deed from falling from above. After that, he and Naomi can communicate with each other. Ear-wide Andy. Naomi felt extremely secure, for on this planet only, and the two of them. Andy struggled to get up then. He and Naomi discuss about the reason at detectable stars, beasts. It's because of the devices, followers that people carried with me was the beast swallowed in its stomach. In other words, these beasts are consider humans as their prey. Just think of the look of those beasts. Andy was terrified and obsessed without a throne. The beast with terrible teeth and spider-like legs. Racing is like a scorpion. It is close to me. Okay, don't scream anymore. I don't understand what the hell it is. I'm not screaming. I'm just overreacting. Excited when they see. Monsters are just like everyone else. Andy's spacesuit was torn with a hole, causing the oxygen inside to leak. Andy hurriedly got the glue to fix it. Liquid form to crumble. Just finished the suit. The repair glue is also gone. At this time, the amount of oxygen in the suit is only 12% left. Andy felt extremely sophisticated. After a while, he gradually calmed down. At that moment, Dewey's voice echoes up in the walkie-talkie, "Love back." Then he is not dead. Luckily, the smart assistant of Roy, Naomi, is still functioning normally. To locate Dewey's location, less than 50 east of Andy. However, Andy resolutely did not go, because that's where the beast had just appeared. He decided to go and save Naomi first. Then the two will find a safe place to hide, waiting for the rescue team to come to the rescue. Naomi reminds Andy that in the end they still had to rely on Dewey to be saved. At this moment, Dewey's voice came again. Said he killed a monster animal and is dealing with another animal. Andy finally agreed. But at this time, the helmet, yours, has been broken. That the display can be used again. Naomi then used an assistant to communicate. 2. Steady the way for Andy to get to Dewey's place. Soon after, Andy saw Dewey. At this time he is struggling with a mighty beast. Just as Andy was about to get closer, Dewey is from a different direction. Another beast inadvertently javelin and dragged Dewey away. Dewey's voice gradually disappeared, made Andy panic to the point. There are people who are stunned. He looked over a few times and saw the beast piercing with claws Dewey's body. This scene scares Andy, to the point that the limbs are soft, unable to move. Naomi tries to encourage him to get up. Hurry up and leave that place. Andy mustered up all his courage. Start the escape between the emergency exits. But at this moment, a beast spotted him and slowly approaching. His eyes stared at him, did not leave Andy. So what's more, on both sides Andy is also. 2 more monsters appeared. He didn't know what to do at all. Only know how to sit gracefully on the spot. Lullaby bouncing in fear. No matter what Naomi says. He couldn't move either. When the beast is about to advance, close to Andy. Suddenly, the emergency exits other sounds to attract the attention of the beast. But that opportunity, Andy quickly moved to a boom. Relatively safe escape. The lost beast Andy did not continue to chase. It turned out that those sounds were all made by Naomi, using the smart assistant created. However, right next to Andy appeared a murderous substance. Made him startled and panicked and shouted. At this moment, a spotted beast, out of the location of the boom, escaped that Andy is hiding from, and began to get closer. Naomi threw away the fig to make more noise, to distract the beast, pulling its attention away. She then urges Andy quickly, leave there immediately. 3, 2, 1, chi. Dodie Andy. Andy would like to run away from there, but all efforts still worked, because this planet was born. Extreme beasts, sensitive to any movement around. Andy has no choice but to, other than receiving, continue to run for their lives forward. Suddenly, a denser white mist. Andy rushed into it. But a strange scene happened. 2 beasts in the back suddenly stopped. No more chasing. It seems that they are interacting with Elle. Somehow. Andy immediately informed Nami. Know about this. But that terrible thing. They are communicating with each other. Moreover, they gathered in herds to hunt prey, then use the second mouth to swallow the head of the human race. Andy didn't care much anymore. But when the beast did not dare to enter, he immediately went deep inside. While walking, he sang a few by himself, sentences to calm oneself. And this really works. The two continue to encourage each other through the radio. At this time, Andy's oxygen, only 8% remaining. That means he ran out of oxygen before Nami was found. Nami advises Andy to go to the rest, the previous ship, to find the source of oxygen. So it is still tight. However, Andy is determined to save Nami first and then calculated. On the way, Andy suddenly saw the beautiful side of this planet. The fireflies glow brightly. It's really beautiful. Nami commented that he didn't know what to do. Is this good or bad? When Andy was still sleeping, one of the fireflies, surprise attack, into his goggle helmet. Oh my god, there is indeed no one here. What is good? Nami speculates that the reason for the monsters, animals do not dare to enter this area. Maybe it's because they're afraid of being. These insects bite. Nevertheless. Then Andy quickly escaped, without too much difficulty. He continued to advance at a distance with it. Nami is less than 1 kilometer away. Suddenly, Andy realized that his surroundings were hot. So, it is strangely quiet. A few minutes later, bizarre sounds began to sound. He told Nami that there must be something. That's huge. It's been around lately. And it's your intuition. Ordinary people are very accurate. Andy was suddenly attacked by a giant. No matter how hard you try to struggle, it is also impossible to escape. Lust. Andy was swallowed by it completely. My heart disease has fallen. The system is preparing a defibrillator. For your safety, Andy, keep a 5-minute pulse distance around Mr. Ramin. 3.2 new mouse. Fortunately, Andy's head was tight quickly, and thanks to, yet he succeeded in saving himself. However, the soft beast, the other, still refuses to explode. In desperation, Andy went into a small cave, then take it out from the other side. It seemed that he was safe this time. Andy's smart market capital works when it is good, and when it is not. Now announces that the distance between he and Naomi are only 0.8 km, and the distance to the rest of the ship is only 0.2 km. However, his oxygen intake was not enough to get to both places, just enough to get to Naomi. However, Andy is still adamant about saving Naomi first, then continued to walk towards her. Naomi tries to convince Andy didn't need to, because his oxygen intake is already less than 1%, but Andy still managed to get to the scene. Naomi's escape fell. At this time, his spacesuit came out, start broadcasting hazard warnings. Finally, in the last moment, Andy also finds Naomi. Naomi immediately provided oxygen to Andy to save him from imminent danger. After that, Andy moved on to handling the wound on Naomi's leg. He had to spend a lot of strength to pull. Naomi's trapped leg came out. Naomi felt that the situation was not too bad. It seems that the leg is not broken, just dislocated. However, the posture of the two at this time became quite bizarre. 3 dots. After that, the two quickly cleaned up, equip, and leave this place. But it was too late. They were immediately surrounded by beasts. This time, it's not just one or two, are dozens of hideous monsters. No more time to think. The two held hands tightly and run for their lives. They head towards the rest of the spaceship. Fortunately, debris scattered on the road has swept. Significantly wait for the speed of the speed. Chase away the beasts. Naomi pulled out her gun from time to time. Shoot to sweep their path. Finally, the two of them also ran strangely, can enter the inside of the wreck. This time, it can be said that the swallow howls, but luckily did not cause great damage. The two of them have successfully advanced inside the hull, considered to be temporarily safe. Andy was just a grocer. Have never been to this place. So, I was curious about everything. Fortunately, Naomi is a manager. Senior here should. She is very familiar with everything. Inside the ship. Not long after, they reached a large storehouse. There are enough supplies here too. They survived for 10 years, including oxygen supply. When both of you are rejoicing, they suddenly discovered on the ground is stained with blood. This made them immediately wary. Both times followed the trail of blood, and then they seeing a sight terrifying in front of you. This place has been transformed by monsters into a base for incubation. Andy vomited all the time. They quietly waited for the other beast to leave. But just after taking a few steps, From above appeared another giant beast. This one doesn't look like with the previous ones, Andy thought to himself, is a new species. Soon after, the beast rushed straight at them. The two of them had no choice but to have a child. His legs ran for his life into a total cavity. Andy hurriedly pressed the close button. Door as soon as you enter. But the big problem arises. Both were trapped inside. There is no way out. Naomi didn't know how to do that either. To open the door compartment because the control panel is outside. The two of them sat down. Couldn't help but sigh about the dangerous situation that they are facing. At this time, the beast outside began to suck strongly into the cavity door. With its power, the destruction of the door only is a matter of sooner or later. Knowing that the substance is approaching, the two decided to hug each other for the last time, accepting fate and waiting the inevitable ending. At this moment, Naomi found it on the backpack. Andy's has a glowing object. Andy remembers that it was the blow that they had met before. Andy tells Naomi to quickly take the firefly. Right then, the door of the compartment was broken by the beast. A warning sounds. Informs that Ozir inside cavity is leaking. The right blow is really the natural enemy of the beast. But unfortunately, there's only one, so it can only be temporarily block the attack of the beast. But this opportunity, the two quickly escaped from the cabin, train and jumped down to another floor. The beast also jumped down, but the owl and the strong touch make it fast. However, it still does not reduce determination. Attack its two. Only its speed has slowed down somewhat. The two had to flee everywhere, all left and right, both avoiding and looking for opportunities to destroy monsters. Andy seized the launcher, escaped, and thought of can be used to destroy the beast. He told Naomi to lure the beast to the taste of the emergency exit device. Andy was the one who climbed first, but he doesn't know the passcode to open the control panel. Naomi heard this and told him the code. After that, Andy turned off all the lights inside the compartment. Create an opportunity for Naomi to enter, a corner at the bottom. But the beast still follows the smell and comes. He opened his mouth with a terrible stench. Search around Naomi de Todd. It circled back and forth close to her, just one layer away from the glass, making the scene extremely stressed and anger. Later, Andy discovered the board again. Unreal controls. Show specific actions, because there is not enough energy. The only ways for Andy to get sad: escape and manual operation. There is no other choice. Andy had to do so. Naomi realized the situation, so she immediately hung up a light bulb and ran towards Andy. Her aim is to attract the beast came to taste Andy's mind so that the plan can be implemented. Andy then activated the launcher and start counting down. At that moment, the launcher fell, smashing the beast into pieces. In the end, both were saved. With the amount of supplies here, they can live long enough until when the rescue team came to the rescue. The movie basically comes to an end. The whole person, I feel the movie is filmed quite well. On a 5-star scale, I would rate 4 stars. I heard that this movie is the first investment of more than $200 million. Not too big nor too little, but the effect is real, is incredible. Films in the genre, science fiction, but borrowed a lot of filming techniques of the horror film genre. If you like the video, please click like, follow and leave a comment.
Enjoyed the video? Hit subscribe, drop a like, share with your crew, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk movies.